Lou would like to call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. The mayor and council wish to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of Salt River First Nation, Smith Landing First Nation, and the Indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of the sacred lands and throughout the generations. We honor your knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We're mindful that colonization has not been kind and respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. Can I get someone to move the agenda?
Move.
Second? Sure. All right. Any discussion? All in favor? So we have a delegation tonight. The RCMP is here to give us reporting, and so I'll hand it over to you.
Good evening, everybody. So I'll be presenting the monthly report for the month of October. We responded to a total of 186 calls for service for the month of October 2024, as opposed to 148 for the month of October 2023. In regards to our first priority being road safety, we have received 8 reports of impaired drivers, and we were able to locate one of those drivers and lay charges in one out of 8 files. I'm sure everyone has also seen that there has been an increase in enforcement as far as speeding and traffic enforcement. We've checked approximately 220 vehicles, 6 separate enforcement actions during the month of October. When it comes to speeding, we're not using our discretion. Charges are laid, whether it's under the Traffic Safety Act or under the town bylaw, which has lower fines. That's at the discretion of the officer that's stopping the vehicle. Quite a few vehicles with that had unregistered plates were stopped. What I've been doing, initially started by verbally asking people to be compliant. Quite a few people ignored that. So what I've been doing is giving them the ticket, but also I would tell them you have until the end of the week to renew the plate, and then the ticket is gone. We're seeking compliance. I'm getting compliance that way. We're not necessarily directly putting anyone from the public risk by doing that. I feel like it's working, and people see that we're not about writing tickets just to be compliant. If you want to be on the road, renew your plates. It's not a right to drive, it's a privilege. Hey, just like everyone else. In terms of community engagement, we have participated in a lockdown drill at JBT with the students. We've taken part in the Halloween ceremonies, activities, I could say, and as well for our third priority being harm reduction. We have been continuing to do our compliance checks. I think we are at 6 individuals from our community that are currently remanded, high risk or repeat offenders. They're away from our community. There's several others that are on house arrest. So at all times of the day, they have to be home. It's working. Those are the people that are violent and or breaking into people's houses. It's been working. So we're continuing to do that. One thing that I have not added to the this report, but it's of note, during one call, and I'm saying this comment just to highlight the things that we're seeing when responding to a call, but we were dispatched to a mental health call for a well-being check when we found the person that was there and we ensured they were safe, one of our officers was sexually assaulted. But just to give you an idea of what we're dealing with, it was unexpected, but it's just those things happen every now and then. It's rare, but I just wanted to highlight that those are the things that we're facing. Obviously, that person has been arrested and charged, uh, facing charges of sexual assault, amongst other things. Yeah. In terms of mental health calls, we have responded to 7 calls under the Mental Health Act this past month. If you look at the table, you'll see that there's about a 40 file increase compared to the same month of the previous year. Again, that's because of our traffic enforcement. Every single ticket that is issued, a file has to be created. It just gives you an idea that how much files we've been generating proactively. And we have lodged 20 prisoners for the month of October, as opposed to 23 for October of 2020. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I recently was a victim of break and enter attempted just on Calder, right across from Grand Detour. I've heard of another house down on Field Street that got maced recently, 2 elders in there. So I'm just wondering, like, are there some public service announcement we should be doing for the community, like proper prevention of break and enters? Like, I know it's difficult to stop, but maybe that's something we can put out there.
I haven't heard of the second incident you mentioned. Does not mean that it hasn't been reported, but
It was that.
it was. Okay, I'm just not aware then. But definitely there's a few things that people can do, and such as making sure there's enough lights around their house and whatnot. That usually deters people from going around the house. Usually when it's dark and whatnot, or the neighbors are not around, that they'll go and try. But definitely there's a few tips we can give. Perhaps in the near future we can. Yeah. Do that. Yeah. No problem.
Any other questions?
Just to clarify, the headers here, mischief, obstructive enjoyment, is that your driving stuff or?
No.
It's a big count, 42 to 26. So
Yes, so you will notice that either that or disturbing the peace will be your top files in enforcement. Essentially, it's the same thing. Disturbing the peace is, this is a common call we're getting, so I won't mention any names, but hey, so-and-so is drunk and stumbling on the road. We have to score that file as disturbing the peace. Same situation, so-and-so is drunk at my house, refusing to leave, that becomes a mischief. So those are the top 2 calls that we're dispatched to in enforcement. Yeah.
So you have 7 mental health calls this month. Like, is there anything from the RCMP that you think we could do as a community to help support?
No, I've said this, we would definitely benefit from having that safe room in that hospital. I don't know what's happening. I've heard some things, but not officially why it's not ready yet. Get into the details since I didn't get that information through the official channels, but if we were to have that room, that would prevent us from having to sit for hours at the hospital until the person is either informed by a doctor, which means that the physician is saying this person needs to be held at the hospital against their will, basically. But until that decision is made, we need to be with that person. But there's no other anything else that you could be of assistance.
Councilor Couvette?
Thanks for coming. As we have quite a few new counselors here, I thought I would present you with an opportunity to provide an opinion on what you feel is one of the most pressing issues that involve the RCMP, where the town might be able to do something to assist in being able to protect our community and provide good law and order within our boundaries.
I can't think of anything at this time. I feel like we have a good working relationship. Whenever there's an issue that arises, we're talking about it and we want to solve the problem. Can't think of anything right now. Yeah, a few things will pop up here and there, but you just address it. Yeah.
I don't know if there was anything follow up with last month's report when with about the youth and the alcohol and substance abuse. Are those still arising? Why there's more? Is that part of the mischief and the?
No, not necessarily. I think we've had only one call involving one of those youth that was mentioned in the last report, just the one. A number of departments or agencies have reached out to us on how we can problem solve this and how we can help. So we're working on meeting with them and whatnot.